This is my piece, One Last Shot. And it's you can tell her quiver is empty. And so she's got this lightning bolt right here, where she's getting ready to kind of maybe try to complete her mission with one last effort. And whatever's going on is happening over the horizon. So it's one of those kind of paintings that you can look into and imagine what that is and that she's going through this challenge and apply it to your own life. You know, maybe you have something going on in your personal life, your job, or your spouse, or so different things. And you got one last shot. And so that's kind of what this painting personifies. It's mixed media with precious metal and acrylic paint, and it's also a collage. So my name is Ren Miller. Check out more of my work at renswork.com. RENSWORK.com. Thank you. And then all this stuff go first. Well, my piece is called Lady of Magic, and anybody knows me, I'm a real music. I love music. Like, if I wasn't a visual artist, I know I'd be a musician. But in this, I was really paying homage to my wife who passed years ago. Being to me, a woman very in tune with her feminine vibe, what I call it, feminine vibe, and she was a lover of music, a hip hop pioneer in her own right, and just a great mother, wife, all that. So we started off from college, went to Southern University, but this piece, when we met, it just was like that, like brown sugar, you know what I mean, about the basketball, but it was the music, it was a connection to her dad, just a connection to so many things that so many at the time, so many women were not into. You know what I mean? Like, you was into breakdancing. And she was into all aspects of hip hop. Started a hip hop radio show in Baton Rouge that got really popular. So I was really paying homage to not just the feminine divine, but also the presence that she had. It was like all the elements, the perfect elements of a woman is what this woman had. She's mother of my 2 kids, and I took care of her to her dying day. She had breast cancer. So that piece is, and of course, Frankie was amazing. You know what I mean? So Frankie, that song spoke directly to that. So I titled it Lady of Magic.
My mom died when I was 9 years old, so I never really can remember that comfort. But I do remember the comfort my sisters gave. I had 5 sisters, 2 of them older than me. So I remember that comfort that I could always go to them when I'm in trouble. I need somebody to talk to. They'd hug me and hold me and make me feel safe. So it's a simple thing like that, just that. And the red indicates just that comfort, that passion that you can find. And that's color pencil.
This piece right here is titled Modern Renaissance Woman. And I've done this back in 2017 phase where I was living architecture with Vivian Figure. And this one was stemmed off of a previous painting that I've done called the Modern Renaissance Man. But, you can't exclude the woman out of creativity, and just have a standalone piece with the man. So I wanted to do a female version of this. And one of the things that definitely stand out for me is confidence, when it comes to who she is. It's something beautiful about confidence of a woman. I don't discriminate with whatever race, but in particular, it's something factuating about confidence of a Black woman. Because when I look at her, I see my mom, I see my sisters, I see distant cousins, close relatives, and it's a strength that she shows when it comes to her confidence and who she is. When I started this piece, before I started this piece, I had a friend of mine, and she's an artist as well. And before I painted this, back in 2017, I was going around the city just scouting for different locations for ideas or whatnot, and I came across Peachtree Center, and there's this these steps that opened up into, I think this is the Hyatt hotel with the balconies and stuff. And I like the composition and everything, the location, because along with her stance, I want the environment to also tell a story along with my movie as well.
To the women in my life, and the women do mine, all of them is their faith and their spirituality. And one of the things that I know is that it just doesn't harm the self, it harms the people around me. And that's one of the benefits that I receive. So that's why you have her as cause of personal information. But the things I wanted to represent was the qualities. So one is mature woman, which kind of represents the experience, that journey, that take when you go to that thing. And also some of that motherly quality, which is how that thing got put onto me, which represents the resume and
I never had to learn appreciation like women. You know, that's, you know, Adam maybe came from the rib, but I came from the womb, you know, and I had a great representation of my own, which is my mother. So my mother influenced everything. And I was blessed to have my father in the house, but I had not a strong relationship with my grandmother. I only had like one grandmother living, and but my mother and my aunties are still the bar to what am I doing? Am I slipping? Am I doing wrong? You got to check yourself, Eugene. It's still my mother and my aunties. So and my mother and my aunties, I only have one auntie left. So just thinking about this is just got me emotional. But this piece in particular, when she was talking about this very good connection, is just looking for a place. Like I said, my mother is no longer there, so I'm kind of looking for a homecoming. So I've been on just mentally getting prepared to go home to Africa. You know, because you know, I'm Black, African American, whatever we call it, and I'm proud to be born here and thankful to be born here. But there's no mistaking, I know where my lineage is from, and I've always had solace in that. I was never embarrassed or anything about any of the false imagery you see. You know, I was always happy with the source of being traumatic, but I've never been there. And one thing about one of the brothers was talking about the beauty of a Black woman and the beauty of women in general, but especially like the beauty of a Black woman. And one thing that I love personally, I love lips, you know.
what you're looking at is a 91-year-old woman. I am the last of 9 children she gave birth to. And this is also my father. Okay? So I didn't grow up, my father wasn't in my life. My mother had 9 children, 3 sets of twins. Every other birth was emotional. She showed me so much, taught me so much. I am who I am, everything I am is because of her. The components in this piece show the complexity of what it took for her to raise us and some of the things, some of the life lessons she taught me. For example, the mirrors, all the mirror pieces, and that's omnipresent every day when I wake up. I look in the mirror. She said, make sure you're okay with who's looking back at you. In respects to that means if you're doing things that are wrong, if you're doing things that you're not happy with, it should be a reflection. So I have to always be happy with who I look at. You see a lot of Legos in here. Legos is how she managed to put together a meal out of nothing. The lady could build anything out of nothing. I didn't realize that we were impoverished or poor until I was an adult, because I grew up in a house full of love. So what I lack is physical things, monetary things of that nature. She more than made up. She worked typically 2 jobs. I don't recall ever going hungry. I don't recall ever going without shoes. Did I get everything I wanted? No. But that wasn't the point. The railroad tracks are all of the paths that she had to walk down. My parents are part of the people who migrated north during the Great Migration. So my parents are from New Orleans. So I got Creole in myself. So that's where the art comes from. I was born and raised in Chicago, and I moved here when I was 24. And out of everything, the content of this is on my property. This is her in a picture of my well house. I have a well house on my property. I have a deep water well, just over 500 feet deep. So I've been in that house for 28 years. I've never had a water heater. And this is her paying homage to God for the free water that God. I remember the day I snapped this picture. That's another thing that's in my photography too. So it's all encompassing. But this in one way sums up everything and the simplicity and its complexity of what I came from. And the life of color. Most people know that you never see my work that's devoid of color. I am Mr. Color. But this was more suitable. I thought about colorizing the picture. I said, no, it didn't need it. So once again, thank you for giving me the platform, because without this show, this work of art would not exist. And that's really important. Everybody has to realize, how does their art come into existence? When they told me about this show, that's when this was born.
All of the films are too negative. It's all con men, dope addicts, dope pushers. You know, we have made tremendous contribution, not only to this society, but to the entire world.
I think I come from a very strong history, and I simply want to live on this planet and to continue that tradition and to try in my little way to make my ancestors proud.